The Russians are not always very nice people. Um, in World War II, when it served their purpose, they went 50-50 on Poland with Adolf Hitler, the prime minister of Germany at the time. Deutschland, they called it. He was a maverick. The sort of customer you find in Pennsylvania. He resented the Chinese or something. If you could get away with winning a major campaign by lying, you would. I know you. So there's no point in denying it. They have these things like false flags, which means you pretend that the left hit the right so that the right has an excuse to go battering innocent left people. If you could do that, you would. They did a pulled a stunt with a dude named Marinus Vanderloob, who was the Lee Harvey Oswald of World War II. The distinguished gentleman of Krautland said he burned down the Reichstag so that you had Ripper Hatters going out. And the night of Penis Gabriel, backstabbing everybody, breaking glass and dragging Devil Jimmy through it, and so on. It was made up of that. He probably didn't have anything to do with it. He was just lanky and convenient. What thaws Hale of Magna Cum Harvard would call a, quote, convenient thing to hate. My father, who was chair of philosophy of education at the University of Pittsburgh, don't tell anybody I told you that, because they're battling off having murdered him and having dragged his name through glass. Don't tell anybody that I told you that he was a senior faculty member there. He was getting ripped off for his Gran Torino by Schulman's Confederates. Don't look up Schulman. You don't want to know about Schulman. They don't want you to know about Schulman. My father picked up somewhere, had a saying of his own that many people remember him for. Let's not say we did. He met with the Beatles in an underground club before the rise. He brought me English bus big enough to ride around. I had all these toy soldiers. He even took me to Canada in a train that had a lovely caboose. I was quite a child. I had blonde hair. McCartney got real envious. They gave me a wildland name, Disneyland. James McRaven Curry. Paul McCartney saw that and flipped his lid. John Lennon said, that's my monkey. And they let's not and said we did the spirit of Adolf Hitler. And they've been getting even ever since, and you've been letting them do it. You're real smart. So put on your Cornell West Spinner beanie and do it for Reagan. Yeah, that's smart. Oh boy, are you smart. They got Lennon to mislead people, walk them headlong into a trap. One of his pals, Peter Hamill, had a record out at the time called Lemmings. They gave British cerebellum to this notion. And they lemmings them to Pussy Ball Stadium. Block that kick, block. Revolution number 9, Martin Luther King and RFK, and then put out an album, Morning, zapped him right between the eyes, zap. Oh, the children sing on 11/22/1968. Now, if you could pull a heist that huge, if you could pull a heist that huge, lying about and violating the rights, systematically violating every single right and duty owed to an American gentleman, and get away with it. A heist I used by pretending somebody died, like they did in that Mannix episode I showed you, or you should look at. Pretending he died when he didn't really. You would do it. I know you. So there's no need for you to protest that you have some higher ethical standard than that, because I know better. So what you will do is you'll put on your Cornell West spinner beanie and say, "We win. We did it because of you. We did it because we had it. And we didn't do anything of the kind." John Lennon really was totaled by Mark David Chapman. And it's just coincidence that Sean Straub was there. And it's just coincidence that you worked with Dolly Myron, who's an associate of Sean Straub. It's just a coincidence that you made tons of money using a Venus flytrap that I had a duty to protect my school to investigate. Now, let's talk about the Ripper Hatter job you did on Shannon Harp. You rippered her to death. It wasn't Light of Long Nights. No, it was Night of Showman. Oh, that's more dignified. Put on your spinner beanie, because the PITT administration said James Curry was a Gurdjieff crackpot. And the Gurdjieffs come collecting Yoko Ono's sacred penny from Shannon Harp by Ripper murdering her for the Light of Spirit Long Nights. Oh, your spinner beanie. You're a caution. Okay, so we know how it sorts out. Well, you say I was diddling the ladies, right? No, I grew up with a superhero, you claim. Wrote lots of love songs and loops and some morals, and got girls who I don't diss to make love to me because they like to see me cry when they broke up with me. And they like to sell blackmail stories to Billy Graham and Martin Luther King III, and who call in the Branch Davidians to listen at Jaime Carbonell's mistranslation laboratory. He's got Vladimir Putin there with Boris Karloff and Oliver Stone and Cyril Wecht and Sam Hazo listening to the queer bait. Extruding the implant soundtrack that they impinge. I'm not going to show you the picture you're dying to see. You can do Michael Reagan's favorite scene some more. I'm not going to show you the picture from Hustler. Why? Because I have pride. I'm not going to risk an image like that being seen by somebody who's tender-hearted. I'm not a psychopath like Ringo Starr. I don't angle for people's horror, pure horror, over and over again. I don't poke people in pre-existing injuries, because that's not me. I don't do that. That's Ringo Starr. And you played a shell game from Peter Shell's laboratory where you said, who did it? It must have been you, because you're a snitch. So that's what I did wrong. I snitched. And you tell me I should forswear any profit from my life's hard work after you murdered my father, violated my rights, and gave me Parkinson's so I don't have assisted nursing, fumed the planet for this asshole Ronald Reagan. And you set it up so that the fossil fuel industries can sue the government for lost profits when we put a muzzle on their black opium hash that they're violating everything that ever lived with. And you get away with it because of this Slipknot thing, the Brian Eno. He's got two. He's got two Cornell West spinner beanies. He doesn't just have one. He is super intelligent. And he has told you that I am violating the spirit of John Lennon by snitching on the people who started AIDS. And it's worth a McCartney penny. So shh to the harps of Burma. We're going to rip them out of Shannon Harps, they say. And then they want Michael Reagan's favorite scene some more.